Hello everyone, welcome back to High Caliber Haymaker. Today we're reviewing the Tisas 1911 Duty with the Picatinny rail on the bottom, little skeleton trigger, a little bit more upgrade than what you would normally get from your standard 1911. So let's get into it. So I already know some of you are in the comment section going, Lance, it's Tsos, Tisas, Tisasi. There's a million different ways that people call it, but the most common way I've seen it is Tisas. So I picked this up for around $550, so definitely an affordable 1911. Now, of course, it's not up there with your super high grade and super upgraded stuff, but for something just straight out of the box, I mean, aesthetically it looks nice, and as far as functionality, it works very well. And for those of you 1911 buffs, as far as like how everything seats together, they've done a very good job here. Of course, you'll see that in the breakdown back at the house of just how well everything fits together as far as like creases and how things align. So this is not really what I would consider for myself to be something that I would do super long range. This would be more of like, grab this and then I need to defend myself or my family, probably in the home. So most of the shots we'll do today will be from about 10 yards out, you know, standard self-defense distance. I have shot this a bit, but we will check the functions and I'll let you see how everything operates. So let's get into it. So it does come with two 8-round magazines, so we're going to go through both of those and see how well we do. First mag, no issues. It does have a little bit of grind when you're trying to take the magazine out, so I don't know if it's just a magazine issue, but you hit this certain point in the mag well and it feels like you're hitting like a flare in the magazine, and it does need a little bit of a push. Mag number 2. And today we are using, I think it's 238 grain, 45 ACP, made by Palmetto State Armory. It's AAC ammo. I'm sure you've heard of it before in some of my other videos. So obviously it works very well. Again, no issues there. Like I said, pretty quality pistol. Looks real nice. Skeleton hammer. Just a beautiful 45 for the price. It was between this and a Taurus for me, but you know me, I like variety, so I wanted to get something a little bit different. So give me a second, we're going to load back up, and then we also have a guest out here at the range today. So we're happy to bring him out here and let's see what he can do. So before I go, first up we have my brother-in-law, Bubba Von Osen. We're out here in like BFE in St. George, but we're really happy to have him out here, you know, pretty much making this happen for us. So we're going to have him shoot, like, see if we're going to embarrass him on the internet or not. Alright, so I can't let him show me up on my own channel, so I'm going to try and go just for straight orange targets now. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump straight into our accuracy test. For my ammo buffs out there, I've got a little surprise for you. My father-in-law, Vietnam veteran, hooked me up with some Black Talon ammo that they stopped making in, I think it was like the early 90s. So I do have a little bit of it, so don't hate me too much in the comment section. You're like, no, don't shoot it. But we're going to see what we can get as far as accuracy with hollow points. So, and I've never shot this type of ammo before, so I just want to see what it does. And then we'll jump into our mag dump. So I'm going to step aside. I'm actually going to move you in on the target, and then we'll see what kind of accuracy we can get with these Black Talon hollow points. All right, everybody, so let's break it down. So, of course, first things first, we're going to check, make sure the firearm is unloaded, which it is, and there's no magazine in. So this is where we do our deep dive, so let's get into the specs before we take it apart. So, forged carbon steel frame, full size with Picatinny rail, forged carbon steel slide as well. Obviously, the caliber is 45 ACP, 5-inch barrel. It's actually cold hammer forged, a little different. Internals are the same as the Colt 70 series, so anything is interchangeable. It's got the Novak style 3-dot sights. The grips are actually black rubber. They're actually a hard rubber though. It almost sounds like plastic, but trust me, it's not. Of course, the finish is black Cerakote. And while we have the scale out, as always, don't tell my wife I took this thing from the kitchen. Let's get a weight on it real quick. 2 pounds, 0.36 ounces. This is a full mag of the Black Talon. We're going to add that just to see what it is fully loaded. 2.89. And then we're going to do just the regular 230 grain 45 AAC ammo. 2.88, so about the same. All right. So here is the nitty-gritty of this thing. So 45s, they're pretty much all the same when it comes to taking them apart. I wanted to highlight a couple things for the 45 guys who are the real buffs. You know, the fit and finish is the, bee's knees of 45s. So comparably, the only thing that's really not up to par, like with the more expensive 45s, is your extended beaver tail. So when you push it down, it's super close right here, but it's just not quite perfect. And the guys who are really into 45s will know what I'm talking about, or the 1911 style. I mean, there's perfect flush on everything. But again, for a $550 pistol, not bad. Your skeleton hammer, skeleton trigger here. As far as like assembly and everything, especially with the additional Picatinny rail, it's nice. It's very nice. So let's get into the breakdown. It's not super difficult. It's pretty quick. So we'll be able to look at some internal stuff. I know this is going to be literally right at the camera because it's pretty low today. So first things first, you're going to depress this right here on the front and rotate this little clip to 9 o'clock, just like that. Okay? It is under spring tension, so be very careful. As you see, it shot my thumb out already. So you're going to remove that, and you're going to remove your spring. It might get hung up, so there is a guide in the back here. I'll show it to you once we take it apart. But you'll see when I'm pulling it, see how it's stuck? It's not really stuck. It's just the way that it's designed to be pressed down in there. So you just give it a little tap, comes right out. There you go. So with most pistols, there is a secondary notch behind the actual slide lock. That's what we need to push to. So now that your spring's out, you should be able to do it kind of freely. So you're going to slide it back, and you're going to line that notch up. If you get hung up, give it a little rattle, and it will move back eventually. There it goes. And then you see here, we lined up our little notch here. You're going to press your slide lock out with your finger, if it'll let you. There it goes. Push it as far as you can. Then you're going to pull it up and out. Okay? So now you should be able to slide your slide all the way forward and be able to pull it off. Now here's that second guide I was talking about. You can flip your pistol upside down if it makes you more comfortable. You're going to slide that right off. So this is basically like the back of your, I guess you consider it like a guide rod for your spring. That's what sits right in the back here, like that. Okay? As you can see, just holding it, it gets kind of hung up there. Now to take your barrel out, you do have one additional step. You need to rotate this front piece here to a groove that it's literally, there's nothing visual to help you. It's just, it'll go to a certain point and stop, and then you'll be able to slide that off as well. As you can see, that little notch I was talking about right there. Barrel length doesn't really matter. Then you're going to slide that right out the front. And there you go. That's your full field strip. Again, for those 1911 buffs, we're going to look in here. Everything is obviously internal, so you're not really going to see too much. I'll pull it up to the camera for you. Literally, it's just smooth as butter. You just don't see really anything in there. So, again, but it's very well designed, very durable. And with it being all black, it is kind of hard to see actually how dirty it is, I'm sure, on camera. So I will get this cleaned up and reassembled. But I will show you the barrel here. That'll probably help you see that it is not terribly dirty, but just to get a visual on that. And if you watch my Prodigy video, I mean, this barrel looks a lot like the bull barrel in the Prodigy. It's just super cool how they did that. Let's see if I can get the twist in there. Probably not. Maybe. I don't think I'm going to be able to. But anyway, I'm going to get this cleaned up, and then we'll get ready for reassembly. All right, all clean. So, reverse order. We're going to start with our slide here. As you can see, everything's all nice and cleaned up. We're going to slide our barrel through the front. Something to note with 1911, some of them are different, some of them are all the same. So, as you can see, there's cutouts that match exactly to the slide here. So obviously those need to be lined up. It needs to be flat against the back, just like that. So not really an additional step. I just do this now because I don't like the little bit of wiggle I can get in the barrel without this. I'll go ahead and put my front lock back on and rotate it to 9 o'clock to get it ready for my spring. Next, you're going to make sure your barrel link is in the upright position, so when you put your slide back on, or excuse me, your frame back on your slide, you'll be able to put your slide lock pin back in. We're going to take our guide rod, we're going to drop that in right here, and let that sit against the groove on the barrel right there. I've seen a lot of different techniques. Like I said, I'm trying to be short and sweet to the point, but I like to assemble this part of it upside down. So you're going to take the rails from your frame, start at the back of your slide. Like I said, I do this part upside down. I just think it's easier for me. Again, make sure your slide link is up. I'm going to slide to about this point. Once it gets hung up a little bit, we give it that little push to keep it going. Then I slowly lay this down here because we need to make sure our barrel link is lined up in this hole. So we're going to go ahead and drop that in, and then kind of preset it, if that makes sense. So remember this little notch here. This one's behind the actual slide lock on the cutout on the frame. So slide back to that point. Keep going. Right there. Now you're going to push this up and in. And this is where it gets kind of tricky sometimes. There we go. As you can see, it fully seated there. Now, it looks like our barrel's a lot longer than it is. You're simply going to push forward, and now you're back to basically the first step of once you took the spring out. So now, carefully, always make sure this is in the 9 o'clock position. Drop your spring in, like so. It's going to hit a stopping point. Then you're going to take the top part of your spring assembly and you're going to push that down in. So I'm going to try and do this at an angle for you so you can see. Press that down. Then you're going to rotate this over just like that. And then it's going to click once it gets past that point. Poop. There you go. So now you should be able to rack the firearm. Point it in a safe direction. Test fire. Do one more. And then for you guys who want to see the trigger reset, I'm going to hold this down. Reset one more time. Here's the trigger reset on the Tsos. Almost immediate. And there you go. So, you are fully reassembled and ready to rock and roll. One more thing I wanted to touch on for you guys about this black talent ammo. So, I'm sure some people will think that it is illegal. I just wanted to touch on it real quick. So, though some now claim black talent ammo was banned or was made illegal, that's not the case. Winchester Black Talon ammo, simply under the new name of Ranger SXT, became a law enforcement only option. That's why you can't find it on the shelf anymore. As you can tell, the box, even by its design, is pretty old. Like I said, it's from the 90s. 230 grain bullet. But just wanted to highlight that for you guys. So let's get back to the range. Now we're fully reassembled, and we'll do our mag dump, and it's a good one. So it'll handle that. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Get out to the range, knock out some rounds, be safe, and I'll see you next time.